I moved to New York for a guy.
Okay.
I had come in, I was doing
Nothing wrong with that.
No. No. Except that he was like Lucifer. He looks like him too. I'm not even kidding.
For those of you who don't know, that's the devil.
That's So anyway, I moved here for him. It was just one giant red flag that I walked straight into. And it was the first time in my life that I had just taken this giant left turn.
On Misunderstood, one thing we like to talk about is overcoming adversity, right? As we've been discussing, life is hard, life is difficult. How do you challenge and turn your obstacles into opportunities? We want to talk about 2014 for a second.
What was in 2014?
You come to New York.
He knows.
Okay, I'm like,
He's going to prompt you. This is perfect.
I feel guilty.
No, this is perfect. We got something on you. Sam's going to,
Okay.
he's going to prep you for this.
Okay, good.
2014,
Yeah.
you make this transition to New York, right? You're trying to be on Broadway at that point, or you're struggling to find gigs.
I don't sing, so I would make it through a Broadway audition. They sing, and it was
That's why we're going to come back to
a
Cirque du
disaster.
Soleil. We're coming back there.
So we want to know, like, take us through that time in your life until the point where you discovered about Peloton. Like, what was that adversity like for you getting up until that point?
Okay, so to be honest, I moved to New York for a guy.
Okay.
I had come in, I was doing
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Except that he was like Lucifer. He looks like him too. I'm not even kidding.
For those of you who don't know, that's the devil.
So anyway, I moved here for him. It was just one giant red flag that I walked straight into. And it was the first time in my life that I had just taken this giant left turn where I wasn't dancing, I wasn't performing, I was drinking, I was partying. He was incredibly abusive, alcoholic, clinical, raging narcissist. It was mentally, emotionally abusive, and then it started getting physically abusive. And in one of our many wild nights, we went to the Box here in New York City. I don't know if you're familiar with this club. And I remember being like, what is this place? And there was something in me that was like, you have to work here. Like, you have to be able to tell your kids that you worked at the most iconic
It is.
nightclub.
It's the most incredible place.
That you showed your tits and they were fabulous. And like, that you just need to have this story in your life.
You did that, didn't you?
Funny.
Right? Oh, anybody can there, really.
I've been to The
Go ahead.
Stranger.
Yes.
The Stranger is also owned by The Box, but it's wild walking in there. I'm like, what is going on?
Right. So for the first time, I was like, wow, this place is crazy. So my relationship I should have gotten out. I didn't know how to get out. I felt committed to being committed. I had so many ups in the past. I was like, I'm not up this one, but it was just horrible, right? So my friend's like, hey, they're having auditions at The Box. I'm like, I am going. Went, got the gig, started doing the gig, rehearsing for shows. I'm like, hey, they're going to put me in the show tonight after a couple of things. I was like, don't come. Please don't come.
Oh, God.
And the act that they had us doing was really bad, okay?
Ridiculous.
It was really very embarrassing. Not something that I just, anyway. Curtains open, and who do I see right in the front?
Oh, God.
Okay, and I have to do this
You have to do it.
act, and he's...
I can't even imagine this.
Okay, mind you, I'm not like I was one of the beauties, right? So we open the show and we're like, welcome to The Box, here's our boobs, and then we go away. But like, we weren't doing any of like the really crazy shit, right? We're just kind of like the pretty things that bookend the show. Anyway, needless to say, there he is. Livid, fuming, raging. He won't talk to me, blah, blah, blah. I quit working The Box. Don't come back. Then we finally break up. And I'm like, can I have my job back? They're like, where did you even go? I'm like, whatever, I'll be there Tuesday for rehearsal. And I walk in, and the first person I see is Sophia. And I'm like, what are you? Why do I feel this way? And I was on this like mission. I'm like, all right, I'm single and I'm gonna do all the things that I said I'm gonna do before I get in another relationship, and I just really wanna sleep with a woman. I wanna try that. So I walk over to her, who I am, and I'm like, hey, something like, do you wanna hook up? And she's like, what? Like, who are you? One.
Best pickup line ever.
Two, like.
Straight to the point.
Right? Hey, go.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not your experiment. 3, I'm in a relationship. And I was like, whoa, I'm so embarrassed and so embarrassed. Anyway, I spent the rest of a year just kind of like staring at her crazy. Let's get to the part where Peloton comes in. It's raining one night. It's a rehearsal. I still have a car in the city for whatever reason. And I hear somebody say Upper East Side. And I'm like, I'm going to the Upper East Side. Do you want to ride? So he gets in the car. And he goes, hey, do you know who I am? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I'm your producer. I'm like, great, so nice to meet you. He's like, by the way, there's a guy I went to college with. He's doing this startup company. It's called Peloton. It's like spinning. I don't know. I think you'd be great at it.
That's what it was called first?
It wasn't, but he didn't know what he was talking
He was
about.
jumbling.
So he messed up.
He messed up, but so many people still do. Anyway, and I'm like, spinning. Ew, I had never even like taken a class before, but I had told myself, like, just say yes to opportunity, Jess.
Absolutely.
Like, say yes if it's a dinner, if it's a party, if it's a job, if there's money on the line, like, say yes, take the meeting. You can always walk away and say no. So I was like, all right, I'll take the meeting, even though inside I was like, I'm not my mother. I'm an artist. I don't want to do fitness. But then there's other voice that's like, you are so broke. Go to this meeting. So I go to this meeting.
You listen to this side, not this side. See?
Yeah.
There you go.
And so I went and I met John Foley, and he showed me a prototype of the bike and was like, we're doing this thing. You're going to be teaching classes to, a studio, but also like thousands and millions of people out in the world. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. I'm like, so my stage would not just be who I can see. It's more people. You're giving me a bigger stage and a microphone that I don't have to sing into. I can just talk. I'm sold.
Your motivation, your daily
I'm sold.
affirmations,
Well,
all
like,
these things.
there's
creative.
everything, and I didn't know it at the time, but after, a couple years of really integrating, understanding, how to ride a bike, how to teach a good cycling class, then got life coach along the way. So then I had that toolkit to be able to really ask powerful questions and shift people within a class, get them to feel a different way or have a different mindset or reframe something. And then simultaneously I was falling in love with a woman. So I had love that was like infusing, and this kind of like thrill of like, what am I doing? This is crazy. This is wild. Like, I'm crazy. And so it all just kind of melted into this like perfect little place where they accepted me for exactly the wild card that I am. Coming out to them was like, are you okay with it? I'm like, yeah. They're like, great, keep doing your job. And then, I could still listen to music, have control. That's a big thing for me. I can control the entire thing. That's also why I started DJing. I'm like, I'm going to control the whole party, you know?
Everybody. So what, I'm curious because I feel like a lot of people doubt their gut, that gut instinct telling them, like, in that moment, what trusted you to believe in Peloton and what John was saying for you to say, you know what, it, I'm going to give this a go?
I mean, John Foley managed to raise a ton of money and he got a lot of people to believe that it was incredible, because it is incredible. When you think about what we're doing, we're transforming lives. Not only are we having fun ourselves, but the work that we're doing on this bike is profound. You're telling me that I'm going to have access to people who may have never even found fitness before, but they're interested about the intersection of fitness and technology and making it easier because they don't have to go to a gym and they can do this thing. And we all just built it together. There wasn't like a roadmap for how it was going to go. It was just kind of learning from the members, learning the whole thing. So I was really motivated that I was going to be able to have a profound impact, because again, I had started my healing journey. And the thing about when you learn something new, even as a child, the first thing you want to do is share it, right?
Yeah.
Come look, I did a cartwheel. Watch
Right,
what
right,
I
right,
can do,
right.
And it was like, oh my God, I'm whole. We have to tell everybody you're whole and you're whole and we're all good, And so I'm like this, and I feel deeply, deeply motivated by that still. Through my life coaching work, one of the first things you do is identify life's purpose, mission statement for your life. And mine then, and still is true now, is that I love it. I'm so dramatic. I'm the magma from the Earth's core.
The magma.
Yeah, because it's deep.
Hot,
deep. Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Magma from the Earth's core that ignites the fire of transformation in myself and others.